still alive. Oh, you don't even know. Live as hell. Blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Sending out a link. Don't mind me. This is all filler. Anyway, hey, what's up? How's your rainy Monday? Assuming that it's raining where you are, because if it's not raining where you are, I don't really care where you live. Uh, unless it's California, I guess. But anyway, hi, hey, hello. Welcome to a Market Down production. My name is Brandon Flowers, and I am here to give you the Raw Fast Forward. That's where I tell you all about Monday Night Raw through the lens of someone who fast forwarded through the show because it's a long show. 3 hours is a long time. There's a lot of commercials, there's a lot of replays, there's a lot of recaps, there's a lot of fluff. And now they want you to pay attention to all that because dropping Easter eggs throughout it. Ugh, oh my god. No thank you, my good sir. Anyway, there's a lot to go through, but I'm still stalling for time because I'm hoping that some of my friends get here and, you know, talk to me, but that's fine. We don't need them. We can power on. I think I just yanked my headphones out. Great. Nope. Still look good. Okay. Anyway, I'm still going to stall for a little more time. So what's up? How's your day going? What have you done today? Anything fun? Anything interesting? What do we got? What do we got going on? Oh, here we go. I do have it on. Boom. Audio problem solved, I think. I hope. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Let's pretend the beginning of that didn't happen, right? Okay. Hi. Hey. Hello. Welcome to a Market Down production. My name is Brandon Flowers. I'm here to talk to you about Monday Night Raw. I'm going to give you the Raw fast forward where I recap Raw through the life of someone who fast forwarded through the show because it's 3 hours and that's frankly, it's just absurd. So, yeah, we're going to talk about it. Raw was in St. Paul, Minnesota, which is not a great crowd. You guys are pretty lame. I don't know. I haven't been too pleased with crowds lately since. Nah, I can't think of any. I don't know. But, uh, what are you going to do? It's been okay. So, we're going to talk about Raw. I'm sorry I'm stalling for time. This is bad audio and video content, but I'm just trying to stall it because going live is silly, at the same time. It's like you're starting, there's no one here, which is weird for us because we're famous, clearly, by my blazer. You can tell that we're famous, but, you know, it still takes a while to get things going. But anyway, I'll start the show. I'm not stalling, you're stalling. So, Judgment Day, get a load of this. Judgment Day came out. Judgment Day is made up of Finn Balor, Damian Priest, some loser, and Rhea Ripley. And they are not cool. They are not cool. Besides Rhea, Rhea's incredibly fucking cool. Judgment Day is like not cool, but like almost cool. Dom's not even in the discussion. We're not counting him. He's a lost cause, but they're trying. You know, they're having fun with it at least. But Damien has this smooth voice, and I think he should narrate movie trailers, or he should narrate the video packages at the start of each pay-per-view. And Keith Lee should do it for AEW. And Finn is like so close. Finn is cool because we know he's cool. He's not cool because they're telling us he's cool. But anyway, they cut a promo, and, for all the shit I'm saying about them not being cool, it was a good promo. Fine stuff. Finn is good in this role. Like, he's gotten better than he's ever cut before in this role, so, that's good. And they kept having this thing where it almost made it feel a little more natural, where someone would be saying something, and then one of the other ones would just chime in with a, tell him Finn, tell him Dom, something like that. And it felt a little more natural, but still kind of scripted. So it's like they almost scripted natural conversation well, but not entirely, you know? But that's okay. We're getting there. We'll get there one day. But anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. Uh, they Finn says he's gonna beat Edge so badly that he's gonna end his career again. Typical ways to threaten Edge. They shit on Ray, and he talks about AJ and how AJ is his friend, and you know he was like, "I could have ended your career, friend, but I'll see you in another life, brother," or whatever Finn says to AJ. And he's the olive branch is still there, and AJ comes out, and it's AJ and Ray versus Judgment Day, which is obviously going to be Priest and Finn, because Dom's, as much as the Judgment Day are losers, Dominic Mysterio, that kid's a loser. But he's not in the match for the better. The match is fun, it's fine. AJ and Ray do not win. So Judgment Day actually wins the match because Ray was too distracted by like his fucking son that he loves and is heartbroken over it like a little bitch. Am I right? And then AJ's upset with Ray after, and they're arguing and bickering, and he pushes Ray, and then Judgment Day jumps AJ, and Finn's like punching him like, why won't you join me, friend? I don't understand what could possibly turn you off to the idea of joining this group. I feel like our recruitment method is so perfect and flawless that I don't understand how someone can turn us down, even though we've only successfully recruited one person, and it was through sexual manipulation, sexual domination manipulation, as it were. So, you know, how is this not working on you, AJ? But anyway, that's good. AJ has something to do. How long has it been since AJ has had something to do, man? And like really something to do, because that whole ordeal with Almas drained the popularity from AJ. It siphoned every last bit of popularity and relevancy that AJ had and tried to give it to Almas, and we see how that turned out. So AJ has just been lost, and he was one of the top baby faces in the company consistently, or one of the top heels. We would always get a superstar reaction up until the Omos stuff started to come to a head, and that has just ruined AJ. Or it's not ruined, it's just drained AJ of all the goodwill he had with every crowd, where he was always one of the loudest reactions of the night. So, you know, maybe this can help re-spark that flame that he had with the crowd. Anyway, Bobby Lashley is backstage getting interviewed about how his title reign has been uneventful and been more about other people's stories than his. When a story walks in for him, Mustafa Ali comes in and he demands a match. He gets in Bobby's face. He's angry about it. He pisses Bobby off, and Bobby's like, okay, F you, let's have a match later. And then, to everyone's delight, Sami Zayn is on Raw. And oh my god, I'm so sorry. You're not pure enough to see my eyes. But Sami Zayn is on Raw, and he is in the middle of a story. He's doing that sitcom thing where it's like you cut back from commercial break, and the guy's mid-story, and everyone's cracking up, and they just say this outrageous punchline to a joke that has no setup because there's no explainable for this setup to exist, because the punchline is so stupid and over the top and silly, that's become part of the joke, is that it's a punchline that is so far removed from anything contextually possible that it becomes funny. And that's what Sami Zayn was doing. And oh boy, was DUI so cracking up. And oh man, are they really, really trying to get me to soften up on him? And it's kind of working. Oh my god, I don't want to admit it, but he's becoming really likable in this, even though he's a terrible person and should be in jail. But you know, we're going to let that go because it's been a really good shit. We're not going to let it go, but we're just going to hypocritically enjoy his presence, I guess. And that's fine. And, he's telling the story. DUI is cracking up, and Solo is chuckling. He's trying to keep his serious game face on, but even he has a chuckle because Sammy is hilarious. He's great. He's fantastic in this. And then Jacob's like, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? You're supposed to be all serious, tough guys. I'm main event Jey Uso, even though I haven't main evented anything or won a match and ever. I'm the serious one arbitrarily. We flipped a coin and it decided that I would be the serious Uso, even though Solo is now the serious Uso, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, what are we doing? We got to get serious. And Sam is like, you know what? You're right. We do got to get serious. Even though Jimmy pushed back on his brother a little bit. He's like, yo, we're just joking around, having fun. And they're like, yeah, we got to let people know. The tribal chief's going to be here next week. We got to lay down the law. Sam's like, you're right. And they go up to the next people they find backstage and bully them. And it's the Street Profits. And Montez Ford has a boot on his foot. He's injured. That's unfortunate. But silver lining, Street Profits are going to take that many losses for however long this takes for it to heal. I mean, Dawkins is, but Montez won't. But, he was cosplaying as the Rock, the Blue Rock. Nope, don't got anything. So that was nice, I guess. And they're going to have a match later on. So then we get to the U.S. title match from before. I'm going to take a quick sip of water. Text your friends. Say, hey, are you up? I got to ask you something. And then when they answer, fall asleep. Anyway, U.S. title match is Bobby Lashley, that is, versus Mustafa Ali. I'm very biased. I love Ali. I think he's great. I think he's forever underutilized, and I don't think they're ever going to push him the way I think he deserves to be pushed, or even they're not even going to push him the way that they were going to push him. It's rather unfortunate. But I wish he had his old music too. But anyway, commentary is pretty much burying him the whole time, saying that he is in over his head and he probably shouldn't have done this and it was a mistake. And that's not good. But they're kind of, and the Corey is the only one praising him, so it's pretty much saying, oh, he's going to turn heel in a way. That's what it was heavily implied with his attitude backstage, the way Corey was praising him and the way he was kind of acting in the match at some points. But, Lashley's just throwing him around because it's a typical Lashley match and, it's kind of boring when he's just throwing around someone. He's not good at being the bigger guy in the match. He's good at fighting other big guys and he's good at facing people that are near his size, but when it's like him and a really small guy, it's just not as good, I want to say. But, he's throwing him around. And then Ali catches a break, and he hits a 450 on Lashley's arm. And he starts attacking the arm to try to weaken it. And it's like, oh, that's smart, because he has a submission finisher. I am sure that is going to come into play at the end of the match when Lashley goes for the Hurt Lock. Maybe this is the way to protect him. Maybe they're going to actually have Ali win and pull the trigger on him and give him something to do to make him not regret coming back to TV, right? Anyway, he is defiant and he slaps Lashley at one point, gets him all mad, and then Lashley loses his cool, throws him out of the ring, and does that admittedly cool spot Lashley does where he puts him on his shoulders and then runs him into the steel ring post and lets them go flying around. Good spot. He does it on multiple ring posts and then tosses Ali into the timekeeper's area and actually goes to take the count out. So now Lashley's acting a little heelish, like a little dick, but their commentary's doing their best to say this is him showing mercy to Ali. He wants him to just take the count out, and he's the good guy because this is his equivalent of showing mercy, and it's not at all patronizing. Not at all. Ali beats the count to have some nice babyface fire for the guy who started working the body part and injuring it. And the psychology of this match was so confusing. All these things work in isolation, but all in one match it was very silly. And then Lashley just wins. He spears the shit out of Ali, and then puts him in the hurt lock, and Ali passes out instead of tapping out. So they are protecting him like a babyface despite having him show more aggression and act kind of heelish. I, I don't know, man. I don't know. This was dumb. And you know what? The arm being worked over never came back into play. Not once. It didn't affect him during the hurt lock at all. So why did they do that? What was the point? Why didn't he just hit the 450 to Lashley and have that be a near fall? This was so dumb. This didn't work on so many levels. And like, just also Ali was asking for a chance. He got a chance at the US title like 2 pay-per-views ago. So like this was just bad. This was so bad. Didn't this was like so close because I'm glad Ali was doing something and I'm glad they tried. But this felt very much like a one night push. And then Rollins attacks Lashley after the match. Just seems like it didn't even seem like because Lashley was going to pick up Ali, show him some respect, and Rollins jumped up. So it's like maybe they were gonna continue this and have Ali just have more of an edge going forward, which, you know, as long as you give Ali anything, he's gonna run with it and make something out of it. But then Seth attacks Lashley, and they're going right back into Seth Lashley. So like, who? It's cool that Seth is setting up his next feud before his current one ends. But like, I don't want to see Seth lose to Lashley, and I think he'd beat Lashley for the title, and then hey, maybe they'll have Seth drop it to Ali at some point in a couple months or something. I don't know because they're really hammering home the fact that Seth hasn't run a title in like 5 years, which I mean, there's Kevin Owens. That's become part of his character. You know what? Ali's never won a fucking title in WWE. Has he been 24/7 champion? I don't think he has. But yeah, he didn't win the Cruiserweight title, right? He lost that feud with Alexander. He didn't win, he didn't win any title. He was teasing, he was going for the, remember when he was going for the WWE title? That's where so much of my love for Ali comes from, when he was getting pushed, when Daniel Bryan was making sure that this man was pushed and that he saw something in him. And then when he was cutting those great backstage vignettes, those creative, different vignettes. But, you know, this was dumb. The psychology was dumb. Why did Ali work over the arm for it to never come into play when he went for the hurt lock? Why wasn't his so dumb? Didn't make any sense. But sure, we can have a Lashley Seth feud and another feud where Seth needs wins because he's not winning feuds. But whatever. Yeah, you might as well be 24/7 champ, Eric. Yeah. I'm cool with that. I mean, Triple H has kind of quietly gotten rid of the 24/7 title. It hasn't been on TV pretty much at all since he took over, which is, you know, fine. Totally fine. Don't need that title. But anyway, Seth and Riddle have a face-to-face after this. It's just a little weird to think about the fact that, yes, I understand he stomped Lashley's head into his own title, and he stomped Ali's head on the floor outside. These guys were just gone. And, like, that's not enough to be stretchered off. And if they were stretched off, they would have made note of it and shown it. So they just got up and walked away while the guy that beat him up was standing right there in the ring. Right? Like, off camera, obviously, in commercial break, but, like, that's what happened. It's a little silly. But anyway, says the guy in aviators and a blazer. They have their little face-to-face, and they basically just do an in-ring version of their really cool sit-down interview from like a month ago, where they did this really cool thing where when they thought the camera stopped rolling, Seth got all serious and talked a lot of shit to Riddle about his real-life issues. And they did that again here, just not as well, but, you know, it was still good stuff. He said, you can't see your kids anymore, haha. And Riddle was like, your friend from The Shield is more famous than you, and your wife is more famous than you, haha. And they tried to get into each other's face, and it was good. They really did a good job leaning into the they can't touch each other before the match stuff, I guess. whatever. Candace is walking backstage, and we got our next White Rabbit tease. It's very overt and in your face this time, and I'm not scanning a QR code, even though it's a totally reasonable thing to do, and QR codes are good. But you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens at Extreme Rules. Maybe we get a guy, or maybe he's gonna come back and feud with Alexa Bliss and get his win over Alexa Bliss that he needs. Who knows? Who fucking knows? But anyway, we have Candice versus Dakota Kai, and it's a good match, fun match. Dakota's great. Candice is great. Don't She got no pop. This was like really, really bad. It was crickets. It was crickets for most of the show, but this is where I noticed it the most and it bothered me the most. This girl just returned / debuted a week ago. I'm like, I get it. You don't know who she is. You have no reason to care yet, but like, God, man, just pop for an entrance, right? But the match is good. A lot of fun stuff. Nice super. Candice does this nice super suplex off like the second rope, or opponent's off the second rope. She was off the first rope, but fun stuff. Damage control, or as they're better known, Bailey and the Huggers interfere, and Dakota Kai picks up the win. I was floored by this. I was shocked. I could not believe my eyes, which looked like this. I was shocked. I'm so amazed because Dakota Kai is clearly being positioned as the fall girl on this team, and I just thought it was going to be back-to-back weeks of the tag champs being pinned in singles matches. So good surprise there, and it's okay to not have Candice just win all her matches going forward. She's not going for the title. She's not really in a story. So I don't have as much problem with that. And you know what? Like I said last week, I really don't see her doing too much. So her being there is just a nice inclusion and just another good wrestler to have there to be a part of the program. So I have no problem with Candice losing here. And I am a big fan of Dakota Kai winning. So good stuff. All good. And then following that, we had a lot of this night was things bleeding into each other. And not bad. It's not a bad way to format the show. That's certainly a way to do it. So we had Johnny Gargano versus Otis, and part of Johnny's gimmick now is walking backstage and finding unconscious bodies. That's a big part of his character so far in the 4 weeks he's been back. Because he finds Miz passed out backstage. So, because earlier in the night, Miz was backstage and Loomis was trying to get him, but he walked away before he did. But I guess at some point he got him, and maybe I fast forward through it, or maybe it happened off camera. I don't know. Miz was just passed out with the picture that Loomis drew him, and Johnny just said, "Oh, Dexter," as he placates this kidnapper at the worst, adult napper, predator. Who's the baby face somehow? But anyway, Gargano's taking on Otis. Match was whatever, not bad. Otis is good, but sometimes certain singles matches just aren't going to work for him. But I'm not going to lie to you guys, I was fast forwarding at this point. And I think this ended in a DQ where the Alpha Academy just started beating him down. And who would make the save? Kevin Owens, you would think. No. Drew McIntyre, you would think, for some reason. Nope. No. Braun Strowman. Keep this guy on SmackDown, please. I don't really want to see him. But Gable had an amazing German on him. But you can guess who won the match. I don't got to talk about it. And we're not going to talk about it. We're going to move on. Anyway, after that, we had a contract signing between Bayley and Bianca Belair. And oh boy, is Triple Vince struck again. And you can take the Vince out of WWE, but you can't take the Vince out of WWE. Because they insisted throughout the night on calling ladder match coming up. The first ladder match for a women's title. First ever ladder match for a women's title when it's not. It's not. It's the first singles match for a women's title. Just say that. Just say what it is. It's just a single. It's the first ever singles match for a women's title. Because Becky, Asuka, and Charlotte had a triple threat for the SmackDown Women's Championship. You know, kind of played in heavily to what would go on to be a triple threat instead of a singles match at WrestleMania. The finish of that match was a big part of it. So don't pretend it didn't happen. Just say the first ever singles match. It's not that hard, right? It's still a thing. It's still you try because even saying it's the first ladder match for a women's title is you stretching like the qualification of a match just to put a title on it. You know, so just go with something that's true and not a lie, right? Who lies for no reason, right? Silly stuff. But anyway, this is Bailey's best promo since coming back, honestly, because she hasn't cut any good ones since coming back, unfortunately. But this one was pretty good. Bianca had a quick little comeback, which was fine. All of this was fine, but it eventually leads to the Huggers, who were told they would not be out there. Who told Bailey's like, "You guys can stay back here. I can face Bianca one-on-one." Because they were jumping Asuka and Alexa Bliss backstage, and Asuka is a chump jobber loser. She is the weak one on this team, and it's so sad. It's so sad. And I said team, they're not a team, they're just three people. But, you know, this somehow leads to Alexa versus Io Sky. Why? I don't know. Because there was no main event planned for the show, apparently. And if this beatdown didn't happen, we wouldn't have got the match. I don't know. But match was fine. Not as good as Candice Dakota, but, you know, Alexa's not too far below Candice, but below Candice, you know, in terms of quality. But fine match. Io won after interference from the Huggers, or from Bailey and the Hugger. And good, fine stuff. They're beating up Alexa after the match, trying to take her out, bring out a ladder. Bianca comes for the save, but they take her out too because of the numbers advantage. Asuka at least has a cool moment where she comes down defiantly limping with the kendo stick to try to even the odds, but because she's a weak chump jobber who sucks in WWE canon, she gets beat up easily, which she should because she's injured, but she would have regardless because she's Asuka, unfortunately, you know, which is, again, just a depressing thing to say out loud, and you should be depressed to hear that. But she is a chump, and then Bailey and the Huggers stand tall after beating everyone up, and this was a good beatdown. I feel like they don't always let the women have prolonged beatdowns like this, where they just dominate for a long period of time, and there's no comeback from the babyface. Like, it's just that. That was good. It's a good ending to Raw, and then they stand tall on the ladders and all holding titles. Good visual to end the show. I don't think it's too big a deal in terms of telegraphing who's going to win at the pay-per-view, because this doesn't affect who I always thought was going to win at the pay-per-view. Stay tuned later in the week for our predictions as to who's going to win all these matches at Extreme Rules on Saturday, because that's going to happen. I didn't realize it was Saturday, but okay. But yeah. Okay show, not really. It was kind of boring, but there were some moments, I guess. There was nothing egregiously bad, and sometimes we take those. Sometimes we take those. But fine, okay, decent show. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a 59 or 60 out of 97, you know. So obviously that's a percent score, you know. So not bad. I don't know. What do you guys think? Any thoughts? Any thoughts on Raw? There's a lot of people watching right now, from 30, 40, 112. I don't know. There's a lot of people here. We're so famous. It's so tedious, you know. It's exhausting sometimes, but I would say overall, like I said, nothing egregious, so that's fine. I think Triple H is making some silly things. Next week's the season premiere of Raw. Are you guys excited? Oh God, I can't wait till the season premiere of Raw. I've waited so long. God, finally, we're almost at the season premiere after a week since the season finale. If this was the season finale, it's actually really bad, right? But there was no reason to care. But that's fine. If you're gonna have season premieres, why don't you just do it after big pay-per-views like SummerSlam, WrestleMania? It's dumb to do it. Don't do it. But if you're gonna do it, don't arbitrarily pick a date. But whatever. Stay tuned for Extreme Rules predictions. As as we always say at the Markdown Podcast, be be nice to animals under all circumstances. Be nice to people sometimes. Read the room, I guess. But anyway, yeah, that's all we have time for on the Raw Fast Forward. I'm sticking to the fast part of this. I don't really want to be here right now. I want to be there. So I'm going to go there. Good night. Sweet dreams. Get off my lawn.